Hello everyone. Our topic for today's discussion is techniques for writing precisely. This is a topic from Unit 1, the Raman effect. Alright, before I start with explaining what are the techniques, let me talk about what is the meaning of the word precise. Precise is being short, being brief. Alright, so you should learn how to write precisely. Now, what is the importance of writing precisely? Yeah, why should you write precisely? Why should you be short and brief? Firstly, it is because readers are not interested in reading lengthy paragraphs, lengthy articles. Yeah, readers like it short and sweet. Okay, so in order to grab your reader's attention, yes, you should learn how to write shortly and briefly. All right, you should learn to be precise. Forget about writing, guys. Even sometimes, we have friends in our circle who talk too much, more than required. They bore you so much that you start holding your head. Oh my God, when is she going to stop? Isn't it? And I know you do that even in the classrooms. Yeah, when the teacher is talking to you, isn't it? So that's the importance of being short. You have to be brief to gather or to attract a reader's attention. Yeah, the reader should not be frustrated and irritated to read a big article, right? So you have to be short and your article should be reader friendly. And in order to be reader friendly, you should be very careful about making it error free too. Yeah, these days we students talk grammatically incorrectly. Yeah, semantically we are incorrect. We don't know what grammar is, we don't know what semantics are these days. With WhatsApp and Instas and FBs, yeah, in the air, we have learned to shorten everything. Yeah, forget about relations, we have even learned to shorten the language itself. How many of you write full words in a WhatsApp message, guys? Thank you is no more THANKYOU, it is just a TQ, isn't it? Thank you. See, thank you is showing gratitude. You're showing your gratitude, and even while showing your gratitude, you try doing it in a short form method, right? TQ. So that's how we write these days. So you should be very careful when you're writing not to use words which are in the short forms or which are abbreviated or which have errors. Grammatically, guys, you are all very good, isn't it? Aren't you? I know you're all smiling because you know how you write. Yeah, there is no grammar in our sentences. I have come across students who send messages, long time no see. No, long time no see. For an English teacher like me, this is so confusing. What does that mean? Yeah, and but for you students, it's so easy to understand. Long time no see is it's a long time since we have seen one another, since I have seen you, isn't it? That's how it is. So easy to understand. And what you students tend to make mistakes is when you are writing your answers, the same language is used there as well, and you expect your teacher to read it, understand it, and give you full marks, isn't it? Some of you students come to me with your written papers or articles. When you come to me, you say, why did I deduct marks here? And then I tend to show you ABV. What is this? Is this above? That is not the spelling that I know. FRM, that is from. According to what you've written, you're actually right. But then because you've written those shortened forms of those words, you tend to lose marks. So that another important aspect about writing. Yes, you have to be short, you have to be brief, but not in the way that you are right now. You have to be error free. That's more important. Alright? Okay. Now coming to the tips about writing precisely. What are the different things that you have to keep in mind while writing? The first thing is you must have something to say, which means there should be some matter in your mind before you actually put pen to paper. Yeah, you should know what you are going to write. Yeah, how you are going to write, for whom you are writing, and what is the length of what you are writing. So all this is something that has to be pre-planned, predetermined. And then you should also have the subject of what you're going to write in your mind. What is your message? To whom are you conveying this message? About whom are you writing this? Or what subject have you chosen to write? All this should be pre-planned, and then you should put pen to paper. Then start writing. Now, in order to gather all this information, what should you do? You should read as much as possible. Accumulate as much information as possible from different resources. Keep all that ready and then start writing. That's very, very important. Alright? The next point is you have to be specific. This is very, very important, guys. Specific is up to the point, up to the mark. You should not, become boring and lengthy. If you look at these examples which I have given you here, my first sentence says, I grow lots of flowers in my backyard. And my second sentence is also talking about the first sentence but in a different pattern. I grow 34 varieties of flowers in my backyard, including pink roses, purple flowers, yellow lilies, daisies, and white flowers. Oh my god, you go breathless reading this sentence, isn't it? Now, which is more interesting? Yeah, which sentence helps you to see my backyard? The first one is simple, easy, and very easily understood, isn't it? So try being very specific. Yeah, I grow lots of flowers. These lots of flowers actually include those 34 varieties along with the other varieties of flowers. So the first sentence is sounding simple and specific. Try using such sentences. Alright? And now coming to the next slide. Choose simple words. Okay, some people, they have a good vocabulary, they have a good command on the language, lots of new words are known to them along with their meaning and usage, and such people try to show off, isn't it? They try to show off that they are much better when it comes to speaking the language, they are very fluent when compared to your fluency, and in order to show all this, they try using words which are very complicatory, or words which are jargons are technical words. Words can be spoken in simple word, but they try to complicate it. For example, if I say I want all the students in the class to be amicable, how many of you would understand what I was trying to tell you? Yeah, now you'll have to look at a dictionary, right, to see what is the meaning of the word amicable. And some of you, in fact most of you, would not even open a dictionary and would forget that word there itself, because you're not concerned, you're not bothered, you didn't understand, you let it go there, isn't it? So such should not be your writing, guys. When you're writing, actually the word amicable means friendly. I could have very easily said I want all the students to be friendly in the classroom, isn't it? Instead of saying friendly, I use the word amicable, and I made you lose interest in what I spoke, right? So see that you always try and use words which are simple, commonly used, and easily understood by your readers. Okay, for example, instead of the word utilize, say use, right? Instead of the word close proximity, use the word near. Yeah, there's such words. Try simplifying your words, don't complicate it. Fine. Okay, and the next point, write sentences which are short. Your sentences should be a few words which are meaningful. Okay, now in my previous class I was talking to you about subject and predicate. Yeah, your sentences should have a subject and it should have a predicate so that it is meaningful. Okay, so try using sentences which are short but not lengthy. As I said, anything lengthy a reader is put off. The reader would not be interested in reading something which is lengthy. So try being as short as possible even with your sentences. And then coming to the active voice, any reader would be interested or attracted to reading a sentence which is structured, reading a sentence which is structured in the SVO pattern. SVO pattern is nothing but subject, verb, object. So if the subject is followed by the verb and then the object, any reader would be interested in reading it. That is the active voice. But then if the same subject, same sentence is written in a passive voice, the reader is again put off, guys. They would not like reading, passive voice sentences. It should be active, it should be energetic, it should be so attractive for the reader to read. Okay, I'll give you an example of active and passive voice. In the active voice, I could say, Gopal bought mangoes. Very simple, isn't it? But if the same sentence has to be converted to passive voice, I would say mangoes were bought by Gopal. And number of words are more, and also the sentence is not sounding good. So try using the active voice whenever you're writing something. All right. And then coming to paragraphs in your writing article. Okay, try making paragraphs very short. As I was talking to you, a newspaper is interesting to read because of the the length of the paragraphs. Newspapers usually do not write huge lengthy paragraphs. They try to wind up a paragraph in a few words, in a few sentences. This makes the readers attractive towards the newspaper. As I was talking to you about newspapers, I have this habit of reading a newspaper every day. Unfortunately, due to the lockdown, some of the newspapers are not being read by us. But I usually read a newspaper, and what attracts me to the newspaper is the length of the article. They are in short paragraphs, easy to read, easy to understand. They don't use difficult words. All right, very simple. So try using paragraphs which are short and all right, which is easy for the reader to understand. Fine. And then eliminate fluff words. Fluffy words are words which make no sense, which add no meaning, which have nothing to do in your paragraph writing or whatever you're writing. So fluff words are words which you don't need to use at all, because they are doing nothing to what you're writing. They're not adding to the meaning, neither are they making it sensible. They're only adding words to your sentences. Okay, so try avoiding use of words which are of no use to your article. Fine. And then the eighth tip that you have to keep in mind is don't ramble. Now, what is rambling? Rambling is confusing. Yeah, there is a phrase in English, guys: if you can't convince your reader, confuse them. Yeah, so this is what we all tend to do. We are unable to convince, so we confuse. And when you're confusing the reader, immediately the reader would stop reading your article. Yeah, they would not bother to continue and go forward and see what is next. They will stop reading your article because they are confused. They are not able to make the head or tail of what you've written, so they stop reading. And that was not your goal, isn't it? When you're writing something, you would want the reader to read the whole thing and get to know what message you are trying to convey. That's very important. So don't confuse the reader. Yeah, you do that in your examinations. When you don't know the answer, you try to confuse the examiner. Yeah, the answer that you've written has nothing to do with the it has no relevance with the question, but you do it just to confuse and get marks. That is not possible, guys. Yeah, the examiners are not fools, isn't it? They will read what you've written, and in case it is not right, it is not correct, they would not give you marks. So see that you don't confuse your reader. Now, coming to the next point, this is about do not be redundant. Yeah, don't be redundant. Redundancy, if you remember, was my first topic on of a PPT which I sent to you during the online sessions. What is redundancy? Repeating. Yeah, repeating yourself. Using old words and phrases which are no longer in use, which are outdated, which people are not interested in reading. So try not to repeat yourself. Again, this is done in your answers, guys. For a given question, you know only 1/4 of the answer. That 1/4, and then if the question says write in 300 words, what do you tend to do? With that little bit of information that you have regarding that question, you try writing 300 or exceed 300 words, but you write the whole answer. And what happens? Every sentence is a repetition of itself. You use new words in the next sentence. You use a different tense in the third sentence. You try to come up with a different vocabulary for the fourth sentence. This is something that you should not do. Do not sound redundant when you are writing something. Try, not repeating yourself, and be up to the point. Okay? And don't put the readers to sleep. Yeah? And then the 10th point is do not overwrite. Okay? Don't overwrite. Now, when somebody is writing, they take a lot of ego and pride in what they are writing. They feel that they are extremely knowledgeable, very intelligent, clever and sharp, and there's no other writer better than him. And whatever knowledge and information that you have, you try to put it on paper. You are not concerned about the reader who's reading your article. Will the reader be interested? Will it convey some message to the reader? Is it going to be important to the reader? Yeah, does it make sense? Is it meaningful? You forget all that and you write whatever comes in your mind just to show off. That ego, has to be killed, guys. Your concern is the reader first. Focus on the reader. And in this point, guys, I would like to tell you that you must put yourself in the reader's shoes when you are writing. Yeah, read it like another reader and see if that is really interesting you. Yeah, see if that is really interesting you. Is it informative? Is it conveying what message you would want to convey? Yeah, would the reader be happy to read what you've written? Put yourself in their shoes and read it, and you will understand it for yourself. So don't try to be egoistic and write whatever you know without being concerned about the reader. Your focus should be on the message and the reader when you write. Okay? And the last point about writing precisely, the technique of writing precisely is to edit whatever you've written ruthlessly. Now, what is ruthless, guys? Ruthless means limitlessly. without any boundaries. Edit it. Okay, in order to edit it, I have another tip for you. Whatever you've written today, put it aside for a few hours or maybe a day or two, and then go back to that reading article, writing a written article after 2 days, and read it afresh. You are actually reading it afresh, and when you're reading it, you will come across so many words and so many sentences that you could have easily eliminated. You yourself wonder, why have I written all these words? I should have eliminated it. I should have deleted this. This has nothing to do with the paragraph. This adds no meaning to the written article. So when you're doing it, guys, you will understand, and then you will actually edit it afresh. So do this, guys. So when you're editing, don't keep yourself in mind. Don't think about yourself. If I edit this, what will the reader think about me? He maybe, the reader will feel that my knowledge is very poor, I'm not well versed with the topic. See, all that can be shown in the other aspects of your paragraph, yeah, but not by writing a lengthy paragraph where you're trying to prove yourself. So edit and eliminate and delete whatever is unwanted. That's very, very important, guys. You have to keep all these points in mind in order to make your precis writing, or writing precisely effective. Okay, now at this point of time, I would also like to tell you about precise writing. Now, precise writing is also done on similar lines, guys. See, for example, an essay of around 300 words is given to you, and they ask you to write a precise of the 300 words. And what we students tend to do is, we read that passage, yeah, the 300 words that are given to us, and we pick up 2-3 sentences from each paragraph and compile them into one short paragraph, yeah, where there is no sense, there is no meaning, there's so much of haphazardity, there's so much of confusion, complexity in what you've written, because you've only chosen bits and pieces from here and there without looking at what it actually means, right? That is not precise writing, guys. Precise writing is, you read the whole passage, understand what the passage is telling you, and then shorten it, write it in brief and with meaningful sentences where you don't lose the sense or essence of the paragraph. That's very important. That I'm going to do in another PPT, guys. But as of now, you should learn to write precisely. There are some exercises in Unit 1 which you have to rewrite. You have to rewrite precisely. So read those sentences, read those paragraphs, and using the tips that I just spoke to you, try to rewrite them precisely, but making it sensible and meaningful. I hope this session was helpful to you guys. Thank you so much. God bless.